Hey everyone. So today's notes are going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be posting pictures of everything. So if you want, we're going to be doing a lot of it on graph paper. You're welcome to do it along with me on the graph paper, but I am also going to post pictures of everything so that you'll have that. So what we're going to start looking at is we're still continuing to look at quadratic equations, but what we're looking at now is a system of linear and quadratic equations. So we're going to have to review how to graph lines also. And I want to go ahead and throw out there that the end of next week we are looking at some type of assessment. I'm not really sure what that's going to look like yet, and we'll talk more about that next week. All right, so what we have here, these are already some systems that are already graphed, and a system of equations is just looking at the points of intersection. And so what we're going to be looking at now is where we have a parabola and a line meet and what their intersection would be. And those are your solutions. So if I look at this parabola and this line, these are my equations. All right, so first it says number of solutions. So here's one point where they intersect. Here's another point where they intersect. So they have two solutions. And then those solutions are the actual points. So 0, -3. And then 4, 5 would be my two solutions. So on this one, these only touch this one time, so that would be one solution, and that would be -2, 5. And then here, these are never going to touch. If this parabola goes on and this line goes on, those two will never touch, so there are no solutions. So that would be my answer for that. So when we do this, you are going to have to graph. So you're going to have to know if it's in standard form, how to find your vertex, y-intercept, x-intercepts, or if it's in vertex form. And also you'll have to remember how to graph lines. So if anybody has questions about graphing lines, I think we're all good with that, but I can post a video about that. But we are going to have to be very neat about our graphs. And so some of us aren't as neat as others. Hopefully you still have that graph paper that I sent you home with last Friday. If not, you may have to just sketch out your own graph paper. But we're going to look at some examples of where we actually have to graph them ourselves. So I'm going to use this side of my graph paper to graph them, and then this side I will write the problem. So for our first one, all right, we have this parabola and this line. So for the sake of time for the video, I'm going to go ahead and give you what you need for this graph instead of working out how to find vertex, x-intercepts, y-intercepts, other points, things of that nature. But that is something I expect you to still be able to do and show your work with. All right, so for this, the vertex, -b/2a, that's going to give me 2. And when I plug back in 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 4 is going to give me 0. So my vertex is at 2, 0. My y-intercept is 0c because I'm in standard form. All right, if my vertex is 2, 0, that's an x-intercept. So that means I'm not going to have any x-intercepts. If I go to graph this, here's 2, 0, here's 0, 4, use my axis of symmetry. So that is the x-intercept. So I don't have to solve that, but I do need some more points. So let's say I plug in 1. 1 squared minus 4 plus 4 will give me 1. So the point 1, 1, and then use my axis of symmetry. You may have to find other points to see exactly where things intersect, so be ready to use a table. So there's my parabola. And then my line, y equals -2x plus 4. So 4 is the y-intercept. So there's one point that they intersect. And then my slope is -2/1. So I go down 2 and over 1. May help if you do these in different colors so things don't get as confusing. So here's a point where they intersect. Here's a point where they intersect. So my solutions to this are 2, 0, and 0, 4. Here's my parabola. I highlight these in different colors. And here's my line. So this point and this point. All right, let's look at another example. All right, so for this one, vertex negative b, that's 2 over 2 times 1, so that's going to give me 1. I plug in 1, 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3 is going to give me negative 4. The y-intercept is 0c, so that's 0, negative 3. X-intercepts is going to factor into x minus 3 and x plus 1. So those will be 3, 0, and negative 1, 0. I like to plot mine with a pencil, so I'm going to do that. And then 0, negative 3, use my axis of symmetry. I'm not drawing it in right now just because I don't want to get confused with that and the other line I have to draw. But you can. Okay, so draw my parabola. And then the line y equals negative 5. So I go to when y is 5, or sorry, negative 5. And then that's a horizontal line. No matter what the x value is, the y value is negative 5. So these are never going to touch. This is concave up and this is down here. So this one would be no solution. Okay, and then last example, I'm going to give you one in vertex form. Alright, so here my vertex, I can see that would be negative 2, negative 6. My y-intercept when I plug in 0. So 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Minus 6 is negative 2. X-intercepts, I have to add 6 and take the square root. Square root of 6 is about 2.4. And then subtract 2 from positive 2 and negative 2. And so we're going to get 0.40 and negative 4.4. Or if you get something like that and you want to just plug in points so that you don't have decimals, that's okay too. So I'm going to plot my vertex. My y-intercept. These points, 0.4, negative 4.4. And then if you wanted to see what points were here, because we want to see where they intersect, you could do a table. And we could plug in like negative 1. You may not have to, but if I plug in negative 1, negative 1 plus 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 6 is negative 5. So I could plot those on there just to have a few more points. And then y equals x minus 2. My y-intercept is negative 2 and my slope is 1. So I'm going to go this way. So I can see here that at these 2 points is where they intersect. So that would be 0, negative 2, and negative 3, negative 5. Alright, so today I'm going to post a place for you to ask questions. No one asked any questions on the last video, so I assume we're good. Okay, but I'm going to post a place for that and then give you a little bit of just trying this. When you do these, I do want to see how you're finding these things and what those are. Don't give me just this. I want to see how you found and what points you used to draw your parabolas. So I need to see all the work. And I'm going to give you 3 to try. And hopefully you'll have that graph paper and you can use that, and message me any questions you have. Thanks. Bye.